Hi, I'm Ned Kelly. Let us talk about what is metaphysics, specifically what it means in the New Thought traditions such as Unity and religious science to do metaphysical interpretation of the Bible or of other stories as well. Let me throw a fancy term out at you. Intrapersonal allegorical metaphor. Intrapersonal allegorical metaphor. You can use it at metaphysical parties to impress your friends. You may be asking, hey Ned, are you going to give us a mnemonic device to help remember that? Why yes. I am. All right, let's break that down from metaphorical and work our way backwards. A metaphor is something where each element stands for something else. In a Bible story, every person, place, or thing and event can represent or symbolize something other than the actual literal definition. I think we all know pretty much what a metaphor is. Allegory, or an allegorical interpretation, is when something is a parable. There's a moral to the story. Now, usually those morals, those meanings and lessons are interpersonal. That is, between people, how to interact with each other, how to treat each other. But intrapersonal interpretation is when it's all within you. Every person, place, or thing represents an aspect of your own being, an internal part of your consciousness. Intrapersonal allegorical metaphor. Let's look at a Bible story most of us know, the Good Samaritan, Luke 10:30. Well, let us start our story where we find a man who has been left naked, lying in the road. He's been beaten up, robbed. Here's our poor naked guy lying in the street. He's probably bleeding. Yeah, he's a mess. He's a mess. And then along comes a priest walking down the street, but the priest doesn't go up to this guy. He avoids him. He takes a big trip around him. He doesn't want to go anywhere near this guy, so he's out of there. He's out of there. And then along comes a Levite, assistant for the priests and the church, and he doesn't want to go near him either. He takes a long trip around and avoids him as well. So he's going his big berth, avoiding him. And then along comes a Good Samaritan, which everybody is surprised to find out he goes right up there to help out this guy. I don't know why they're surprised. His first name is Good. But he goes directly to this poor naked guy and mends and fixes his wounds and takes care of him. He even spends a couple of days' wages to take him to a hotel and make sure they continue to take good care of him. Now let's get busy with the metaphysics. Typically that story is used to teach a lesson about loving your neighbor. And who is your neighbor? Everyone can be your neighbor. And expect good from even those who are strangers to you. But that is an interpersonal allegory, which is great. If we're going to take this into an intrapersonal allegory, we're going to look at what each one of these elements might possibly represent. And this is just one particular guy's interpretation. First, the victim, that part of you, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, where you have been wounded and perhaps you've been carrying it around for years and decades. Then the priest and the Levite, that which is maybe your natural tendency as a defense mechanism to avoid going near those wounds and injuries. You know, we don't even want to look at it. Because it's sad, because it's scary, or because we're worried about appearances, or for whatever reason, we avoid taking that look at that wounded part of us for a long, long time perhaps. Until a new thought, which may seem very foreign or strange to us, to actually go up to that part of us which is wounded. Even though it may be messy and ugly and scary, we are willing to go up to it and examine it and look at it. We could call this doing our shadow work. And that's where self-compassion comes into place, and that's where healing really can begin. Well, I hope that example and this discussion has been helpful in studying what is metaphysics. You may want to refer to the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary and the Revealing Word. Both of those are compilations of writings by Charles Fillmore. I would suggest you use them as a launching off point, not a ending or closing point. Use them to inspire your own exploration for your understanding and metaphysical interpretation as you go. Thank you very much. Namaste.